What's up, everybody? Another day here in the channel. As you guys saw from the last video, kind of disorganized, and finally got these rod bearings that we were waiting on. So hopefully those will work. We'll check on those in a second. Catch you guys up here with what we got going on. Here I got my second ring laid out for each cylinder. Kind of a little sloppy, but this is how we build when you're on a time crunch and in some tight spaces. But either way, second ring already gapped it, headed in each cylinder, as you see, as we have the top ring. My bottom rings are gapped to at least 20 thou, and my top rings are gapped to 18 thou. And the oil rings, I usually never gap those. I just let them do what they do. So send it. So like I said, that's where we are with those. We're gonna be getting those on the block today, and with these rod bearings, hopefully we will have an assembled block by the end of today. It's Wednesday, so happy hump day, everybody. And yeah, so let's get into this block. Let's open these bearings up and make sure they fit. Alright guys, so as you just saw, I grabbed the thrust bearings, made sure I didn't forget before I put them in the crank. And guess what? They're for the 55mm crank. So, I'm not waiting for thrust bearings to show up. I'm taking this block apart and taking these thrust bearings out of there. There's no way the thrust bearings are bad. I want to take the block apart anyways, and I might as well do it now. Get it out of the way. So that's what we're going to be doing now, tearing down this block for just thrust bearings for this new build. And yeah, so let's do that. Alright, so I don't know how long that was on the time lapse, but probably like 5 to 10 minutes, not even, in real life. So this is probably as far as I need to tear this down. As you could see, the new thrust bearings are not new, but the ones that I can use are right here. I shouldn't have to tear into the motor any further. Should be able to sneak these guys out. Let's see if they're magnetic. Let's see if they're magnetic. Ah, he is. Oh no. There we go. Spin around there. The main bearings are still in great shape, so a little vibration, they're a little worn. But we're gonna send it, because like I said, I'm not waiting a whole nother week for some new ones. It's just not happening. Can't keep a racer down. This one just doesn't want to come out. See if we got anything a little skinnier. There we go. Get you. I guess not. See if we can use a small baby-sized Allen. Small Allen. This should be better than that screwdriver. She wants to come, guys. She knows what's waiting for her. A new block. Come on, girl. Stop playing hard to get, girl. You know you want to come. Damn. Alright guys, well, I'm gonna get that out, and we'll catch back up once we're about to put those in the new block. Well, talk about wasting time. Got the thrust bearings out. Brought them over here, only to find out that my current setup is already, these are the thrust bearings from the current setup. One are ACL, one are kings, so that's why the grooves right here are a touch different, but they are both 55 millimeters. So thrust bearings will not be going in. Very upset. I'm gonna drop the crank in just so it's in place and I'm not wasting all this lube and stuff, and I'm gonna cover the whole thing with a plastic bag because I'm not gonna keep cleaning and uncleaning, and I'm just wasting a whole bunch of stuff. If I cover it with a bag, it should stay clean, away from the dust and all that. So shout out to one of my friends. She works at a Honda dealership local to me. Hopped on the phone. It was her last day of her swing shift, and she was able to order these parts. It's like 5 o'clock in the afternoon right now. Ordered the parts, and they'll be here Friday. So hopefully we'll still be able to get this motor built and installed for the end of the weekend, hopefully being Sunday. But we'll have to pick up this vlog after we get these new thrust bearings, which should be Friday. I'm still not even able to tell which ones are 50 and 55 millimeters. Obviously, this is either a base model block being 50 millimeters, and that block is a 55 millimeter being a SH model. So I'll have to find out once I get the right size thrust bearings which is which, if they're from the base or the SH. So either way, more delays, more problems, but once we get these bearings, we'll be flying. Just gonna throw the girdle back on, take this oil pump off actually, and that should be it. Probably slap the aluminum oil pen on here just so I have something on here, and that'll be it. I can't really figure out which rod is spun. They're all pretty decently tight on there, but there is quite a bit of bearing material in the pan, so I mean we're definitely spinning something. But yeah, there's the oil sucker or oil squirter rail that was missing the whole time, and yeah, there's the tap, the bolt where you tap in there. So yeah, it's what it is. So we're gonna go ahead and get this oil pump off, a couple other accessories, put the girdle and windage tray back in, and clean up for the day, and we'll catch back up with you guys Friday. What's going on, everybody? Saturday morning. Didn't get anything done on Friday. Was just only able to pick up the parts. Got the new OEM thrust bearings, 50 mil, and went and picked up a new head gasket from AutoZone. Warrantied that out. So we're gonna be getting this block built. It's around 10 in the morning. I got a haircut appointment at 1, so we're gonna get as much done as we can until then. Like I said, my goal for today is to hopefully get this whole engine assembled and transmission back on and ready to throw in tomorrow morning. So we'll go from there. We'll see what we get done from now to 1 o'clock. Crank is still in the block. Just gotta throw some more lube on there. Put the thrust bearings right in here. Put the piston rings on the piston and go from there. So we'll see what we got here soon. The crank in. Torque down to 54 foot-pounds, OEM spec. Got the thrust bearings in there. Everything's good. Oil squirter rails in. Now it's just time to put the rings on the rods, and we can go from there. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna flip the block over, get the rings on there, and start setting some rods. Installing the pistons, got everything done. Pistons are in, cranked torque to spec, sorry. Crank is torque to spec also. Torque the rod nuts to 34 foot-pounds and the crank bolts to 54. Went ahead and got the case tuned oil pump on, got the time belt tensioner, water pump, got all that on there and torqued down. Got the oil sucker on there, just got a 2x4 holding it up for right now. About to put the rear main seal on, but I'm gonna wait until I get back. I gotta run and get a haircut real quick, so we're gonna go do that. Once we get back, we will be putting the head on, obviously, and continuing to build the motor, so stay tuned, guys. Making progress quick. It's only about 12:20 in the afternoon, so should have the rest of the day. Should be able to at least get this maybe bolted up. Who knows? Just got back, like I said, same state. About to throw the rear main seal on. Just got back from getting that fresh cut. Fuck. I hate when this shit happens. You gotta walk all the way the fuck around. The key was in my pocket too. What an idiot. I walk all the way back around. Had to get some McDonald's, you know what I mean? Good brain food. Had to stop by K&S, get some MT90, some tranny fluid. Because they're not open tomorrow. Not to say we'll need it today, but they're not open tomorrow, so we won't be able to get it. So we had to make that pit stop today. Also stopped by AutoZone. Had to grab a new oil pan gasket because we ripped the old one. And some more brake parts cleaner for the head, and a little bit for the rear main seal. I need to get that for. So we're gonna get going on this, get this oil pan on, and we'll check back in a second. What's up, guys? So sorry I forgot to set up the time lapse, but we're making progress. We got the oil pan mounted up, all gooped, good to go. Just got the clutch and flywheel all on and torqued down. Gonna be getting ready to install the trans, and then we'll put the head on and time it and throw all the other nonsense on. So yeah, I'll set up the time lapse now, and you guys can watch me throw this trans on and get this head torqued down. So let's do it. Alright guys, so the head's on, torqued down. We torqued it at 80 foot-pounds. I'm not really sure what time it is, I haven't checked in a little bit. So what's next? I do need to take off the VTEC solenoid and clean it out, just make sure there's no metal shavings in there. Play it safe. I need to put the coolant tube on, mid-shaft, and finish timing the motor, obviously. So we're getting close, and getting excited. Can't wait to get her back up and running. The only thing I have to do in the engine bay is I wanted to clean everything, but really don't feel like it or have time to. So all I really have to do is, like I said, the rear mount was loose. This is how it was in the car. So I know where I need to mount it down. It needs to be like as far over and up as possible. So I just need to do that and tighten it down, and we'll be good to go. And then who knows, maybe I'll try and get this motor in tonight, we'll see. Alright guys, so we got everything pretty much assembled and ready to go in the car. Valve cover on, motor timed. Forgot to put this driver's side mount on until after I put the cover on, so I had to make a little custom hole, which was fine because it was half cracked here anyways, so I just made it look a little neater. But mid shaft is on, coolant tube is on. Yeah, everything's pretty much ready to go. Throw it in the car. All I have to do is still clean the VTEC solenoid, but I could do that in the car. I'm about to tighten this rear mount down, and then I'm going to attempt to jack the car up a little higher so that I could try and get the engine in from a certain way, possibly, but we'll figure it out, and we'll check you guys in then. Alright everybody, it's about 8:30 at night. Got the motor in by myself. Pretty much got everything plugged into. Everything's ready to go. That's in the car. Intake, injectors, IAT, brake booster, fuel lines, feed, return, thermostat grounds, IX, sub harness, shifter cables, starter grounds and power. Everything's pretty much ready to go. The only thing I need to put on is the alternator relocator kit, but I'm gonna wait to drill these these holes out a little bit, and throw that on tomorrow. I do still have to throw on the headers. I'll probably throw that on before I leave, and I have to come tomorrow with some fresh oil. I don't know if this is how I had this from the dyno, but it's the only way it would run seemingly easily, so I just ran with it for tonight. Yeah, I gotta put the axles in, radiator, which I'll do that before I go. And I might do the axles real quick, I might not, we'll see. But other than that, yeah, everything went really good. Surprised I got it in. I was fighting with the back T-bracket mount for like an hour. I couldn't get the whole line up, but I finally managed to make it happen. So we got that all squared away, and we're good to go now. So now all we gotta worry about is just getting some fresh fluids tomorrow. And yeah, we'll be on the right track. Definitely gonna start it up for the first time tomorrow, and should be able to cruise it, no doubt. So stay tuned. Alright guys, so I'm not sure exactly where I left off last night in the vlog, but ended up getting the radiator in. Still gotta tighten the hoses down. Like I said, I don't know if I did say, but got all the fuel lines done. Harness and everything is ran. I don't think, the only thing I do have to connect is the wire for the fan wire. But I do have to connect the exhaust, put the axles in real quick, and lower it down. So that's what we're gonna start doing. Get her on a time lapse, and here we go. Just got everything oiled up, back on the ground, axles on, wheels on, exhaust hooked up. Try and see what we can make happen. Alright, so I just had to make a new fuel line. I don't know where I tossed the old one. Oh, here it is. It was all frayed at the ends and was just leaking. It was probably a little short too. So I whipped up a quick new one. Made it a touch longer. So we'll see if we got this fuel leak, and we'll see if we can get our first start up here. I am firing it dry, no coolant, just to make the head gasket seat good. So let's see if she... Pretty sure she's dry. Let's double check it. Everything seems to be dry. Let's crank it up. Let's double check the oil real quick. Now, another thing that I'm looking for when I first start this up is for that oil light to not be there. Obviously, it was probably on before because we didn't have a squirter rail. So let's see what we got now. Alright, here we go. Good shit. Started right up. See if we got any leaks underneath the car. Major leaks. None that I see that are new. That's good to hear. No fuel leaks. Gonna start adding some water. I'll let it get to like 80 degrees. So that's good news that she's finally up and running again. So today's gonna be the break-in period. Fill it up with water, bleed it, and check back in with you guys when we're ready to take it for a little spin. What's up, everybody? So this is gonna be this is the next day, Monday. I forgot to film an update after we bled the car. I've been driving it around. Everything's been running good. Everything's smooth on the car. No leaks, no major problems with the new motor. Still on the braking oil. I gotta do an engine. I gotta change the oil, and I want to do spark plugs. But last night, driving the car, ran into a weird problem. Want to share it with you guys. Like I said, I go about 70 miles on the new block. I'm getting locked out of reverse, and I looked up on the forums of how to fix it. So like if you guys see now, I can't, oh, there's reverse. It goes to reverse fine now. But before, last night, it would almost like come to like right here, and hit like a wall. Like I couldn't get into reverse. It would stop like right there and feel like I was stuck. So I looked up on the forums. Well, before I did that, I actually came to realize that this clip was actually broken. I broke that last night. So I actually had a spare. It's on backwards right now, but it still works. I swapped that out. That didn't fix the problem. And then that's when I finally turned to the forums, figured out that you can rev the car up to 1500 RPMs with your foot on the clutch, kind of bring it over to reverse and jam it in there almost, and kind of like force it manually. And so far, I mean, that's what's working for me. I might do a transmission fluid swap later this week, just to see if I got any metal shavings in there, or maybe flush it out. And then maybe I'm running 2 quarts, and I've seen that some trannies take 2.5, so maybe I'm a little low. I didn't have any issues before I did this swap the last time with the old motor, so something new to me. So we'll have to play it out as we go, but everything else is working order, running fine. So back up and running, and I talked to my tuner. I'm going to try and get to him later this week to tune up the car and see what we're making power-wise, because we never got a number, but she's all fixed up, working, looking good. She needs a bath. But yeah, so stay tuned, guys.